Hello and welcome to Africa and Beyond the Television Network, and we continue to take a look on what is happening in the nation of Zimbabwe without fear, without favor. At this point in time, what is very important is to know that there are a lot of battles which are being fought within ZANU-PF, and one of the most interesting stories right here is something which we need to talk about right here. Emerson Mnangagwa, who is the first secretary of ZANU-PF, called for an urgent Politburo meeting. What is of significance is to know that VP Chiwenga is not in Zimbabwe. He's away, probably in India. And then the Politburo is ongoing. The biggest question right here is why now? Why are they rushing? What's the rush? And why are they holding this Politburo meeting in the absence of the general? Especially these days where a lot of stories are circulating within ZANU-PF about factional battles, factional fights actually happening. So it's good for us to reflect on what Wopo Chingono highlighted right here, because it carries a lot. I know that these people, they belong, they are from the same camp, ZANU-PF, but they have different agendas. So we are going to try and understand what is happening. Wopo says President Emerson Mnangagwa has called for an urgent ZANU-PF Politburo meeting in the absence of his deputy, General Constantino Chiwenga, who is on a visit to India. You do not need to be a rocket scientist to know what will happen at the Politburo. So this is critical. Let us take a look on what is expected to happen during this Politburo. So the fight between Mnangagwa and his deputy, it's centered on pushing Kudakwashe Tagwirei into the Central Committee, which is the highest decision-making body in ZANU-PF, thereby clearing his way to succeed Mnangagwa and blocking Chiwenga. That is the agenda. So once Kuda succeeds, gets into the Central Committee, he can now be used to block Chiwenga, and that is the agenda. So it might even be better if Mnangagwa dares to cross what General Chiwenga and his team call the red line. And the sooner the Tagwirei issue explodes, the better for the country. At least then we will finally know where we are headed with this ruling party thing. So what is happening right now is a great decision is about to be made in the absence of General Chiwenga. So remember, there were attempts to have Kudakwashe Tagwirei get into the Central Committee. All those attempts, they were blocked by the ZANU-PF elders. It started in June. There was an attempt by Patrick Chinamasa to overturn everything else. And then up to this day, it's back and forth. They are still fighting on the same issue, back and forth. Who is winning? At this juncture, it seems as if it's square. No one is winning, no one is losing. But somebody is about to lose. Who is about to lose? The one who is absent. But will he lose outrightly? It depends. Does he have critical people within the Politburo who are strong enough to defend his position and their position in the Politburo? That is a matter of fact. That is something which is very important. So if the general, does he have serious people within the Politburo who are brave enough to defend him, then you have to know that it won't be an easy journey for the Kudakwashe Tagwirei cabal. So who among others is expected to be leading in terms of trying to stop this whole thing? There is Obet Mpofu. Obet Mpofu is the Secretary General of ZANU-PF. But is he politically powerful enough to stop whatever which is happening? Obet is strong, he's powerful, but without the right hand of General Chiwenga, it's very difficult for him to navigate through, because the ZANU-PF Elders Council is divided itself. We have people who can't be trusted, people like Christopher Mchangwa. Chris is on the left today, tomorrow is on the right, tomorrow is neutral. So you won't understand that kind of a person. What it means is it's very difficult to navigate the ZANU-PF waters without the general himself in Zimbabwe. or presently there. But let us remember, I'm not so sure if Sanyatwe sits in the Politburo. I'm not so sure about that. But what we need to note is people like Sanyatwe, they are now politically active. He's a general, a former general, and he's there side by side with General Chiwenga. So what it means is whatever happens within the Politburo, politically, there is another gentleman who can give the ZANU-PF elders a hope. That is General Anselm Sanyatwe. That man is there politically to try by all means possible, in the absence of General Chiwenga, to stabilize things. But what is the problem of Sanyatwe? The problem of Sanyatwe is he believes that ZANU-PF should continue, whereas other comrades believe that ZANU-PF should discontinue. It can't continue just like that. So there are people who are making up their minds to say it's time for us to rest, it's time for us to find a team which is going to succeed us, which is going to protect partly our interests. Even if we are to lose A, B, C, D, but as long as we are out of prison, as long as we are not in exile, as long as we are pardoned, they are okay with that. So when you look at all those things, these are groupings of people which are there. So it's very, very interesting to see that the a political playbook, which is actually at play right now within ZANU-PF, is most interesting. This is far even ahead and beyond what happened in 2017. Whatever which is going to happen, it might happen differently, but this is far greater and beyond what happened in 2017, because we now have people who cannot restrain themselves. President Mugabe, in as much as he was a hard-headed person, at a certain point in time, he reconsidered and said, okay, we are not going to shed a lot of blood or more blood on account of politics. He stepped down. He agreed to step down. But we have people who are saying, if it's not me, then no one else. If it's not us, then no one else. So we have two issues at hand. Issue number one is the Agenda 2030. Issue number two is the succession issue. Who is going to succeed Emerson Mnangagwa? That is the biggest issue. And the 2030 issue is simply secondary, but the primary is who succeeds who. So there are so many names thrown right there. But from all those names, there are names which are backing other names, which makes it difficult, especially for Kuda Kwashe, because Kuda, at the end of the day, is a lone ranger. So where is the hope of Kuda? In money. He believes that the more they buy people with money, the more they get loyalty from people. The more they try to make everybody want to have a car get donated to them, the more they get more loyal cadres and more loyal people. So that is critical. And the biggest challenge is, how are they going to buy these cars for those within the security clusters without causing a problem or without it backfiring? So that is very important, because remember, there are people who can't be bought who are within the security structures and security apparatus, and also within ZANU-PF and its structures. So as it stands right now, Mnangagwa stands to win because General Chiwenga is not there within the Politburo. But it's not a walkover, because the old guard, they are likely going to resist, push back, and do everything they can to make sure that even if something is passed today, it will be revised. If not, then you start to see Plan B, Plan C, and other plans get into effect. So what is the hope of the people of Zimbabwe? Our hope is the explosion scenario. So we do not wish to see Chiwenga being saved. We do not wish to see Mnangagwa being saved. We wish to see ZANU-PF exploding. That is the prayer. That is what Zimbabweans want to see. Because if ZANU-PF explodes today, that is going to save Zimbabwe. So it's no longer about people losing positions. It's no longer about individuals losing positions or losing battles. It's now about ZANU-PF itself losing this plot and losing this battle. That is the prayer. So at this juncture, at this point in time, General Chiwenga is absent. He won't be there in Politburo, which means his interests won't be represented the way he would have wanted. But to me, in my own view, this is the best thing to happen within ZANU-PF because it creates a conducive environment for ZANU-PF to explode. It creates a conducive environment for ZANU-PF to disintegrate and for ZANU-PF to go forever. So this is it. Let us meet in other episodes as well as other broadcasts as we continue to look at what is happening in the nation of Zimbabwe. What will be the next move of the old guard? We sit to see.